Hi, this is Katrina Cross from Woodrow Handcrafts, and in today's tutorial we're working with the Creative Drawings Simple Cut software. So this is the software that comes with the Artistic Edge Cutter from Janome. And in today's tutorial what we're going to be creating is we're going to use the cutter to actually draw out hand quilt designs that you can use for your hand quilts, hand embroidery, napkins, that type of thing. So the first step is that we need to come up here, we've opened our program, and we're going to create new. So we go next. Now what we're actually doing is, instead of cutting with the cutter, we're drawing with the cutter today. So when we actually create the design, we have it set up similar to the cutter. So we still want to keep our cutter icon selected in our techniques. So once we've got it selected, we need to go next. So now we need to find our artwork. So the artwork that's available for this, you can download off the website. So that's www.woodrowhandcrafts.com. And what we're going to do is be using the one that says Stencil 1. So we're going to open that. We're going to check that we've got our mat selected. So for this tutorial, we're using a 12 by 12 inch mat. And next. Okay, so now it's asking us if we want to trace it or whether we want to use it as a backdrop. And if you've previewed my previous tutorials, you'll know that I like to use it as a backdrop. So it gives me more control over what I want to include and not include in the artwork in our actual designs. So we're going to go finish now. So it's brought the artwork in. So we got it here on the screen. You can see that it's inside our little mat. So now the next part is we're going to start creating our lines. So we come over to the toolbar on the left hand side and we click on Create Outline Shapes, or Control F5. We're going to zoom in nice and close. So we're using the left clicks of our mouse, like so, and for this part we're just going down the center of that black line. So create curve, we're going to come out to the point, so hold down, 1, 2, let go, and continue around. Next point, 1, 2, create our curve back around, all the way up to our next one. Create our next point, and curve it around. Like so. Once we get to the end here, we put in our last point with our left click. When we have that last point in place, we then right click and that will finish that line for you. You'll see here that I need to create a bit of editing there, so we're going to come up and edit it. I'm just going to bring that node out a little bit to fix that curve up. Okay. So while we've got it selected, what we're going to do is we're going to change the color. So we'll select a light blue. So when you hover your mouse over your color palette, you'll see that it changes from a bucket to a pencil. We want to select the pencil side of things. And then when we come down here, we're going to select our Create Outline Shapes again. We're going to click on our color in our pencil, and it comes up with our default pen setting. So you'll see here at the moment it's got it set up as for design only, for that part of the design only. We want to change it so it's for every new design as well. So we're going to change that and press OK. So what that does is it now allows us to see our cuts, or in our case our drawing pattern that we're going to create against our black and white background. So the next one we're going to create is going to intercept down here. We're just going to continue around till we intercept our line again. So when we intercept our line, remember that we want a left click, and then once that left click is in on the line, we're then going to right click to finish it off. And then we're going to work up on the top one. So we're going to intercept the line, create that curve around, create the point, so 1, 2, hold down, curve it back around. Intercept that line and click. We're not going to worry about the circles through here at the moment. They're not exactly one that I liked to add to the pattern, so that's what, when we're talking about setting it up as a backdrop, and that then gives you that flexibility that you can include them or not include them if you want. So we're just going to continue working around our lines. Okay, so we've gone through there, we're now going to come out around here. And curve around. Like so. Come back around this one. Create that point. Back out around again. Intercept that line. Then right click, sorry. Now we're going to move over to the other side. Like so. Point. Intercept that line, and then right click. Start on the next line. Work our curve around. Like so. Intercept our line. Okay. So now we're going to move down here. Create our curve. Intercept our line. And right click. Start on our next one. To our point. And work around again. We're just going to continue doing that until we have all of our pieces created. Okay, so once we've gone through it and we've created all our lines, we're going to come up here and we're going to select them all. Now, what we're doing is we're creating a drawing project, not a cutter project. So we're not going to worry about setting our presets on what fabric we're going to use. So all these sort of information, we don't need to do that. We're just going to leave it on a preset here. The thing that we do need to change is our cutter pressure button. So if we left the cutter pressure on 75 and we put our fabric onto our mat and off we went, the pressure of the pen would be too hard against our fabric and would cause drag and would actually pull our fabric off of our mat. So we just want to be able to have our pressure light enough that we can draw on our fabric without actually distilling our fabric. So what we need to look at is, depending on what level of your mat's at as well, is it something you need to take into account when working like this. So for example, for our sample piece, I used a brand new mat. So for our brand new mat, we set our pressure on 40. We left our speed the same. We left our passes the same. We left our blade depth the same. In our in-class workshop, we found that a couple of the mats that had been used a few times, we needed to lighten our pressure up again. So it is one of those things that you may just have to have a little play with, but we found that working between 35 and 40 on our pressure was a good indicator on to prevent any fabric moving on our mats. So once we've got that, so what we're going to do is we're going to come up here, we're going to select all, we're going to change our pressure to 38, sort of about halfway there between the two numbers, and we're going to go to File and we're going to export to our cutter, and we're going to connect to our cutter.